All right, let me get my boots on. All right, today we're actually gonna be prepping. Hold on, let me get you straight. We're gonna be actually prepping the garden spot. You know, the last video or two ago, you know, I started doing the ending of one garden, but now we're gonna be starting the next garden. So we actually have to start the fall garden, getting it prepped. As we talked before, we will be taking off the silage tarp, placing some bark and mulch down, and then also some compost, and getting it prepped and ready. We've got to move the cows and get them moved. We've been having to watch video. He's been getting kind of crazy, trying to, again, go to the heifers. Go, hip. Hip, 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 hip. This paddock has done extremely well. But again, because we're going to be planting this in ryegrass for our deer hunting and taking them out of here, they're putting more manure loads on here, which allows us to have better quality growth whenever we actually plant. We're going to let them eat it down tremendously, and then from there we're going to bush hog it real heavy, and then it'll be ready to plant for us for season. We won't plant ryegrass for about another month and a half, but it's just prepping along the way. All right, before we actually get to doing the silage tarps, my wife's told me I got to help her in the kitchen. So we're gonna actually do some roll out some puff pastries. We try to prep a lot of breads and foods again for school season. So it's a weekend for us right now, so we're trying to do some prepping and getting it ready. And so we're gonna go do that right quick. But isn't it nice? You feel the coolness that's starting in the mornings, and that's very hot here. We don't actually see winter temps or fall temps till late, but we start having those cool mornings. Leaves are starting to fall, trees are starting to turn yellow right there. Gosh, love this time of year. I don't know about you, I get excited. I love seeing pumpkins coming and everything's starting to happen. Okay, so we've got the first one done. It's sitting, it's gone proof again. So now we've got to do the next one. If you've never made crescent rolls, my wife needs to make a video on this. But we're gonna start on the next one right now. Okay, so we're finally done with the puff pastry, the second one, the crescent. To let it rest, we'll let it flip, 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 and then let it proof, just like that. And then Misty will roll it back out and we'll actually have basically a puff pastry. Okay, so you see we've got our mulch on the trailer. That's about probably 3 yards of mulch. You see, look at that, right behind us. So it might be, we may be short-lived on this mulch, but so we're gonna really focus right here next to these posts for winter, and that's gonna be next to the pumpkins. So there's methods to the madness. So you see, this is where we're focused at right now. There's our sweet potatoes all right here. That's resting, that's been resting. There's no reason to have that open. It's the furthest away from the sprinklers, and it's just, we don't need it for anything right now. So this is where the corn was, pumpkins, and now that we'll start opening all this up right here, and this will be for our fall garden. Now all this right here, close to where our peas were and our tomatoes and all that, we'll let that rest, and that will be next year's spring garden. Crazy amount of storm that's fixing to come in, which is a good thing because we need the rain, and our cows are more important than probably doing this mulch today. So if we don't get it done, that's okay, but we're gonna try to see what we can get done. Okay, should we start or not? Because it is getting really dark really fast. I don't know if we're gonna beat the rain because it is literally already sprinkling on me. It's getting dark. You feel that breeze? That's a good thing for our cow fields though, because we have not had rain. So I'm not complaining very much. Look at their pumpkins over here. They're really doing good. They're starting to put out blooms. So, all right, we're gonna try our hardest to see if we can get the silage tarps up. We got all the stuff off of them. Now it's just pulling up. Okay, so we're gonna have to put you in the truck because it's starting to rain. We'll see if we can get done in the rain. I'll show you once we're finished. Okay, so you see the rain kind of stops. I can bring you back out of the truck, but as you see, I'm starting. This is where we had that silage tarp, and you see how good quality. It's very moist soil, very brown soil. So very happy with it so far once we pulled it back. But we're gonna start a row basically right here, and see where we're putting all this bark right there. All that is that's where our walkways would be. So when you're building your back to Eden or no-till garden, you need to make sure we're reapplying every year, because ultimately the more you apply, the better it's going to do the next and the next and the next. So you're getting more fertile, more lasagna, more no-till, and also you're getting to the point where you're just kind of filling in versus doing a whole bulk amount of feeding it, and bulk amount of compost or bulk amount of bark or mulch or whatever you're using. So you see we have good established soil under here. I mean, all through here it's just great soil. But I'm gonna still put some more compost on it right on top of the main hills here. You see right there, so I can do it with my finger right here. And then that way, basically, my seed is getting into good, fertile, new compost with great quality chop and drop from years ago. I mean, you can still see some of the chop and drop from last year. And that's what we want. We want to keep building that organic matter underneath the compost, because ultimately that's just allowing for more earthworm and more vegetation, more growth, and really more nutrients for our garden to kind of grow. So again, we're going to go ahead and fill this up. We'll keep you out as much as we can without the rain hitting you, and then we'll show you kind of finalized result if we can get done before the rain actually catches us. So we've got to come back and put the compost on top. I'm gonna finish these half rows and this one last row here. So really it's about 2 full rows, the one big row here and then these little half rows, which make up about 1 full row. We'll finish that up, and then basically we're gonna try to get some topsoil on this too. You see the sun's out, so the sun kind of came after all the storms. I'm soaking wet, which it felt good. So we're gonna try to get this done. The guy that's helping me on the barn is still over there, beating the rains as well. But we've got to finish this up. We'll leave that covered. And then our goal is to get the black compost and topsoil on there. All right, quick note. Now, with a no-till garden, the way that you need to set it up is just like we did with the silage tarps with our animals. You saw some prior videos. We'll link them all up here, where it shows our animals worked the ground, our silage tarps went on it, and then we started the no-till method. Now, if you're starting, we started our strawberry garden and our what we call the compost tomatoes. Go back and watch those videos. What that was is we came back and put cardboard underneath and prepped them the right way with newspaper or cardboard paper. Make sure you're getting a source that doesn't have chemicals on it. So we got a biodegradable cardboard paper, and that's how we started these rows. Now these have already been done. They've already been, grass has been killed. So for weed suppression, definitely start off with compost before you go to this barking method or even the silage tarps, because it's ultimately going to help you with your weed suppression. If you notice, we have a flamethrower too we've used. Again, all those videos, go look at our garden and our greenhouse videos. You'll see all those things, and those are great hints and tips to make your garden really thrive under this no-till method of growing, especially organic growing as well. Okay, as you can see, that was the last set of composted topsoil that we had to put on. They look good. So now this will be where we plant our fall and winter gardens. Other than a raised bed, we'll plant a lot in the raised bed too, but this is the only that we'll plant over here. Quick minute, let's finish up this video by again talking about what our plans are. When we talk about gardening, there was a guy that just come up and just kind of was looking at our gardens just a second ago, and he wondered about the silage tarp, and I'll show you, he said, why is all that covered and all this is open? And everything is progressional. Everything's progressional, successional, so it makes it where the old is rest, The one that was resting last season that did our fall is now resting for spring of next year. This one that did the spring of last year is now doing the fall of this year. It's all progressional. It's an amazing thing. So for instance, our baked potatoes. Our baked potatoes are pretty much, we're almost done with eating all our baked potatoes for the year. But then again, we have sweet potatoes right there. Those sweet potatoes will take us hopefully back to baked potato season. Everything is progressional and successional. So we always try to make sure that we have enough. Like right now we're out of lettuce. Lettuce doesn't grow in the heat. That's one thing we can't grow until it gets back cool again. And we cannot wait. So we're gonna try to grow a different kind of lettuce at the start of spring next year. And maybe that'll help us go through the season and only miss out about 2 months out of the main summer. Because I'm ready to get it started back. So as you see, everything that we do with our gardens is all about preparation and making sure we put a lot of effort, a lot of hard work on the front end to make it where we really enjoy it through the rest of the season. Guys, if you hadn't seen our 5-year transformation video when we talked about the gardens and did a whole garden walk, it's like 30 minutes long, but it really talks about how we are, full vegetable sustainable on our gardens. And on top of that, we're meat sustainable. And I want you to just look at everything. It's amazing how we've been able to try to do this over time, but really everyone can do this same plan. So I challenge you, whatever you're trying to grow, try to get a plan for it, try to have a next plan for it, and have another plan for it. And that way for 12 months out of the year, you're doing something. Because ultimately that's what's gonna make us better. If we can get 1 or 2 or 10% better each and every day and each and every week, we'll make a big impact, again, in our own lives, but also in this world, as we try to have a homestead, sustainable farming life. Guys, thank you for watching. God bless. Happy homesteading, y'all.